Oh.
Here, let me bring you into the corner so I don't super conflict them.
Oh, I mean, let's go to the other room just in case.
Well, we don't know how Pred keeps getting away with it.
Wait, is he gonna be conflicted or y'all gonna be conflicted?
He's the one that took the bench and dealt with all the bullshit. So
I can talk to Sean, but not you guys, right?
To Sean.
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure. All right.
Yeah, let's go over here.
Yep. Oh.
You know, I've been around for a bit, you know, and I've never seen something like this before.
What happened?
So the bench trial gets called, and I was like, "Oh, okay, go ahead and take it." Bench trial, sitting in the courtroom. They come on in, and I see it's Pred and Angel's the lawyer, and I was like, "All right, this is gonna be a 5-hour bench trial. Let's do this." And Angel is saying that in the cells, the prosecution, the processing officer, he's like a PPO, I guess, Kukolski. He in the cells when Angel came to him with negotiations. So she came to him and was like, "Hey, all these charges are bullshit. We should drop all the charges." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then didn't like contest doing that. And then they kind of went in the back and forth on whether he did that or not. And I called before the trial even started. I just called a sidebar for a point of clarity to establish if there was really, because essentially what that boils down to is bad faith negotiations, right? Saying you're going to drop the charges and then charging them anyways. Not necessarily grounds for dropping the charges. But
sure,
as I'm just trying to get a point of clarity, like Spectre comes over and he says exactly what Angel said, and then we get the Ash Chief down here and the Ash Chief says exactly what Angel said, and then I'm like, well, why did you drop the charges? You know, tongue in cheek, kind of like.
Wait, what?
Like,
wait, was the PPO the one that detained him originally?
Yeah, he was a processing officer. My take of it, I think they just left him alone, and he got overwhelmed. But I very tongue in cheek, like you could hear the smile on my face. I'm like, oh, so why didn't you drop the charges? And he's like, oh, okay. Walks over. He's like, all right, I'm gonna drop the charges. Walks over to Pred, uncuffs him, and then walks out. This is tied to 3 different incidences, by the way, where he shot and kidnapped police officers. But we all, including Angel, came to an agreement that we're gonna treat this like a catch and release. They're gonna push the charges of docket, and then we'll make the court case happen this week.
Wait,
but I've never in my life seen something like that.
But can I ask look, weigh my what I'm about to say very fairly. Please don't say this is how it should be. I'm just thinking out loud.
Mm-hmm.
The PPO, if he is indeed the arresting officer, right? You know, made the detainment. He's in charge of making the decisions of what the charges are. And while I do agree that maybe he was bullied, whatever you want to call it, you know, got overwhelmed, whatever it is, right? And people, whatever. And maybe he didn't mean to suggest he was ever dropping the charges, and maybe, but by you saying, why don't you drop them in court that is now in session?
Well, we weren't in session. We didn't bring it into session officially.
Oh, this is out of session.
Yeah. Before we started, I just wanted a point of clarity sidebar to understand what had happened, to make sure that it wasn't just like actual scumbag shit happening. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Like if it was like really like, why are we even here? You literally said you would drop charges. Then it's like a whole different story, right? But what the reality of it is that it was just a communication problem. Like English isn't his first language, and like he takes a second to kind of process what he's saying. So like that's what happened. It was just like a break in communication, and it's Angel. So Angel hopped all over him as soon as he said okay, and he didn't really get a word in. And I think In my opinion, I think he was just frustrated. He took it. He came in there frustrated. Like, I asked him how long it was going to be for the report. He's like, 7 minutes. Like, man, I'm just asking you how long you need for the report. But you're not. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's what I was. That's what I wanted to figure out.
I'm a little stuck on if I don't know if you can bring it to the docket. I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
Grayson was saying is that if the argument could be made that it is double jeopardy, but that would be up to whoever presides over that to determine if it is.
Was this court case scheduled?
The bench trial? I mean, I called them to the courtroom, but we never brought it into session.
Then how did the conversation happen out of session?
We just brought both sides up to talk about it.
That means it was in session.
If I don't bring it into session, it's not in session.
By the way, I'm thinking very much out loud. I'm not even certain about what I'm saying right now. I'm going to be. When does a court case go into session? Because isn't that like, you know how there's I don't know the answer to this. I'm like very curious. So I'm going to pose a hypothetical, right? Law enforcement, a individual by law enforcement is under detention, can be considered under detention, not for any other reason than the way they speak, right? So, for example, if pretend I'm a law enforcement officer and I come up and I say, hey, you, what's your name? You may believe you're being detained and you may produce your name because I'm law enforcement, my presence and whatnot. And what is the legal definition of how a session begins in court?
I think that's a good question.
Yeah, you get where I'm going with this? Because like traditionally it's a gavel, but but what if it actually came into session the moment you as the presiding judge in that bench trial began to take in information that and decisions in that period of time were made that changed the course of the proceedings, which it did. Right?
No, I mean, you're not wrong. That's why it would have to be someone other than me, because to entertain that argument, if it's me, I've already kind of made my piece in front of both sides of what I think of the situation, right?
Though even if it was, sorry to cut you off. I just, so it doesn't even, you're right. Even if he did decide to drop them, it doesn't mean they can't be opened back up because they were not. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I mean, like, I think the argument could be made that, like, court was in session. It isn't like, so under the same thing as what you're saying, right? I could give some, like, when is court in session? Because I can give someone contempt before I hit the gavel.
Can you?
Give someone contempt after I hit the gavel. Yeah.
Based on what piece of legislation?
Well, that's okay. That's what we're trying to solve. At these
No.
meetings, okay?
I know 100%. By the way, I'm not.
No,
I'm bringing
I
this
know,
up as a point of like, oh fuck.
You're not wrong though. That's what I mean. I was just like, oh, that's what we're trying to fix here. See, that's why I like. I mean, because I was in originally when it was just kind of me and Falconer doing stuff, and the other three were inactive. He wanted me to deal with the penal code stuff, and that was like my thought process, right? Like, this is only going to be good to just do a fucking reset and get everything defined, because that way there's not really like any ifs, ands, or buts about it, and then there's an easy way for people to understand how charges work. And then if there's any extra context to charges, that it's in the legislation, they can go and find it.
You know what? I think let's tackle these. Let's keep it in the back of our mind. I think it's good that we have everybody, because I think these sort of things, it may sound dumb, but it's only because this city has ran on trust me, bro, And I was a part of that, trust me, bro, time. Now we're living in a world where everything has to be written down, so like it might be worth start opening those conversations, to be honest.
100%.
Even if they're like one